I've been coming to Greece since my childhood. My parents always had a special connection to this country, and through countless visits they kind of passed it on to me. There's something just fascinating about staring from the beach to all the islands and places on the horizon. Something about wanting to explore all these different places. I actually started to learn windsurfing back in my early teens on a raceboard, a Mistral equipped board from the 90s to be precise. But then, once I got the hang of it, shortboarding quickly became much more fascinating. More speed, a more free feeling, more adrenaline. Yet, there's something raceboarding can do that no other windsurfing class can offer. Long-distance sailing. Today I'm going to go on quite a long trip from the small village of Plataria on the mainland of Greece to the island of Corfu and back to the mainland to the bigger city of Igoumenitsa. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I'm heading off for another long-distance episode. The plan is to go from here, Plataria, all the way to the island over there, Corfu, which is 18 kilometers away, then head north and go all the way to Igoumenitsa. So we probably have around a 50-kilometer trip in front of us today. And I'm on a raceboard again, but this time I have a new one. I'm going on the Fanatic Mega Cat, which is quite a bit newer than the Mistral Equip I was using before. This board is 380 centimeters long, 67 centimeters wide and 250 liters of volume. Quite a big dagger board. The mast track system is working perfectly and I have all the straps on the side. I packed quite a light bag, and that's because with a southern wind, every direction we go in, if we break something, we will get back to shore. So it's quite safe. It's not like offshore wind where we will go out to sea. Nonetheless, what I have inside the bag is, let's check it, one bottle of water, then second bottle of water. I will put my phone inside here, so we have the safety. And we should have access to the network everywhere where we're going today. And then some bars. And then I'm gonna put some rope in case we break something. So that's kind of the safety aspect done. So yeah, I'm gonna head in the wetsuit and we just get going, because we should have a 4 to 5, maybe 6 hour day in front of us to get over to Corfu, the 18 kilometers. I was traveling to Greece without my gear this time, so I'm borrowing an 8.6 Gastra Vapor from my dad. It's pretty old, I think 10 years or something. There's the board. Yeah, you can see in the bay the wind hasn't filled in yet. It's a bit offshore. And then outside, I don't know if you can see it on the cam, you can see it's darker, so there's the wind line. And this is what we're going to use for filming. I'm going to put this inside the harness, have the action cam attached here, and then just use this for filming. All right, let's get started. We have the gear ready, and I'm going to be using the Coros watch for tracking the session and seeing where I'm going. And yeah, then I also saved the location of here, Plataria, and Corfu and Igoumenitsa, where I want to go, so I can see where I'm going. And yeah, we have the selfie stick, which we can just put here in the harness. So let's get started. So we have offshore wind to start with, doing 3 knots. If I'm sailing with both hands, maybe 4 knots. There's some sailors here, so we can go pretty nicely outside with offshore winds. Well, let's switch without falling in. But the nice thing is that later in the day the wind should switch to south here near the coast as well, so we can just go on a nice square course back inside. But now there's like this light patch over there, which we need to make it through to get into the south wind, which then should get us pretty quickly over to Corfu. Patch with no wind. The unique thing about the raceboard is that it works in pretty much any wind. Some of you may ask, why don't you use a foil for doing long distances? It's much faster. And yes, while it is faster, it also relies on the wind to stay above a certain threshold. With the raceboard, the board will still do okay in just a few knots of wind while keeping the amazing up and downwind capabilities, making it the best choice for doing long distance legs when you're not sure about the wind conditions. As I was heading out of the Bay of Plataria, I started with a very light offshore breeze with only 2 to 3 knots. But quickly this turned into a good sideshore south wind with around 10 knots. Once I was in the south wind, progress became much quicker. So now we made 800 meters and we're right in between the two wind zones. Over there near the coast is easterly winds, and 100 meters or 200 meters further we have already the south wind, which will bring us to Corfu. And here I'm just turning in circles as the water is absolutely flat. But I think there's a gust coming, so I'm gonna put the camera away. Or maybe like this. It's really not so easy with the camera. And one thing, even though I'm going downwind, I have the dagger board down, just because it gives a lot of extra stability. The board is only 67 centimeters wide, so if you don't put the dagger board down, it's actually really wobbly. And if I'm planing, that's okay, but if I'm going like slowly, like I'm now, I like to have the dagger board down, even though it maybe costs me a bit of speed downwind. But that was not so bad to get through the windless zone, because I think we're already in the south wind now. Yeah. Going 3 knots, going 4 knots, 5 knots. I think we will have really nice wind. So 10 minutes in, let's see how long we take to get to Corfu. It's always really exciting to go on these long distance tours, and I have to say I'm always a bit nervous, because you never know what's going to happen. If something is going to rip on your gear and then you're kind of stuck like 10 kilometers in front of the coast. I mean, I did the safety precautions, I have the phone with me. I will just land somewhere on shore, swim maybe for a couple hours, but still it's like, I'm getting really nervous doing this. I think always when I'm a few kilometers in, it's better. Oh, we have the first nice gust here. As I was heading out further, the wind increased and pushed my speeds to about 10 knots at times. I was slowly sailing out of the Bay of Plataria and out into the large strait of open water between the mainland and the island of Corfu. This was the part of the trip where everything has to go right, because you don't want anything to go wrong when you're out there. So we did 4.6 kilometers. So around 13, 14 to go. Corfu is getting closer, and we're about to head out of the protection of the bay here, and that should give us more stable wind, because we're not like really going fully all the time, but also there could be some waves, and I don't really want to go if it's like a meter or 2 waves. So we're gonna have to see how we handle this and how much wind we have outside. The forecast range between like 9 and 15 knots, but you never know here, it could be anything. And I would wish to go a bit more to the south over there and not in the direction of Corfu city. But let's see how we go. I'm just gonna pressure upwind as much as possible so that I'm not losing too much ground. But I think I can see outside there's a bit more wind in here. Right now we're going like 9 knots. Whoa, almost fell in there. I think we're outside the bay and the waves are not too bad, but the wind is actually pretty light here. I'm only doing 6.5, 7 knots. So this will add a lot of time to the journey if it's all the way to Corfu like that. But I think in the middle there could be a bit more, hopefully, so that we can go like 10 knots. I did 6.85 kilometers now, hoping for some more wind. 8 kilometers, we're halfway in. Wind is still not super strong, but at least we're doing around 8 knots, which should mean, we calculate quickly in my head, we should take like 40 minutes from here to get to Corfu, and we're 42 minutes in. So halfway point. But it's so gusty, like sometimes, like now I'm doing 5 knots, sometimes I'm doing 9, 10 knots. It's a bit weird. Like this is actually, like the point of no return basically, because I'm not really knowing what the wind is gonna do. I mean, it's not like I'm gonna die out here. There's plenty of sailors, but it could be like really uncomfortable if the wind dies. And I've experienced this once in like long distance windsurfing on my Round Greece tour. Over there actually in Laka, where the wind completely died, but there were 2-meter waves. That was not pleasant. But yeah, I'm hoping this doesn't happen to us today. The wind doesn't die. But it could be a bit more. It's like maybe 8 knots of wind, which should have been a bit more. But yeah, going along nicely. The wave state is not too bad. So we're 10 kilometers in. Still, the wind didn't increase. Maybe a bit. We did the last kilometer in 4 minutes and 57 seconds. We have to watch out a bit because you can see the 2 ferries over there. Now we're right in the kind of the way for the ferries in between the mainland and Corfu. Oh, nice gust. But yeah, I don't fully trust the weather today. So I think I'm not gonna stick around in Corfu for too long. Just gonna do a 10-minute break to refuel, maybe get some calories in, and then immediately head back. But yeah, nice going. 7 knots, 10.3 kilometers now. Pretty good. So the wind and sea state has increased both a bit. We're doing 9 to 10 knots and 12 kilometers in. I can tell you, it's really good to see the shore getting closer when you're out here. I mean, it's a weird feeling somehow. There's a sailor over there. Behind the ferry was actually a bit of really kind of cross waves. A bit weird to sail in. And yeah, I'm hoping with the sea state that there won't be any shore break. I don't know exactly how the coast is gonna look and where we're landing. I know more up to the left. There's a pretty good sand beach, but we're not making this. That's too far upwind. So I've not been here really, but it looks like there's also a sand beach there. So yeah, I think 20-25 minutes till we get to shore. But now the wind is nice, that we can go 8 to 10 knots, which is making pretty good distance. Let's try to get some shots for you. It's really not so easy to sail in the waves with this narrow board with the selfie stick. It looks like we have a pretty big sand beach over there, which should make for nice landing conditions. The last 2-3 kilometers the wind was actually really nice, so we did 10-11 knots, and it took us 1 hour and 20 minutes to get here, and 17 kilometers. So I feel a bit like Odysseus on the Odyssey. So nice. Look at the wind now. There was actually a sandbank in front, so we needed to walk in a bit. And I actually have no idea where exactly we are. On the ferry that we passed, that's going over there. You can see the pier there. I think that's Left Kimi. So we're a bit to the north of Left Kimi. There's not much here. It's like a beach bar or something that is closed. It's 12:44, so short break, and then we came from there, Plataria, and now we're going to Brepano, Igoumenitsa, which is like 10 kilometers. While taking my little break on Corfu, I felt this special sense of achievement that I felt in previous long-distance trips as well. I couldn't really put it into words right then and there. What makes long-distance windsurfing so rewarding? It somehow feels more real. Aside from just surfing around like you do on a usual funboard session, you also have to make so much more, like navigational decisions, considering how the wind is going to change, where it's smart to land, what will the waves do, what will the wind do. You're constantly trying to read the ever-changing conditions and assess based on that if it's smart to push on, under which conditions you have to abandon or maybe change the plan. All this connects me so much deeper to nature, and then when you finally get to your destination like you planned it, you get a real sense of achievement. It's totally unique, really. All right, rather quick break, but I just checked the forecast. I think the direction is pretty good, so we can go a bit downwind. But the forecast actually says that in 2 hours it's supposed to drop to 7-8 knots, and now we have 10-11. So I think I'll get going right away, because in 8 knots I'm only going 5-6 knots of speed. Yeah, let's head over there to Drepano to finish the day. I just checked the distance, it's 14.5 kilometers. So it's not quite as far as all the way inside to Plataria. So yeah, I think we can make it in an hour. So the wind has increased to 12, 13, 14 knots. And I'm going a lot faster than on the way here. I'm going around 12 to 14 knots. So this is really nice and perfect sailing conditions for this year. I have to go a bit downwind, so I might change the mast base and turn it a little bit back, because that can give us more speed downwind. But really nice sailing conditions now. And we're already 4.5 kilometers in, after just about 12-13 minutes of sailing again. So we made it back to the mainland. It was actually pretty exhausting, because I had to go so far downwind to make it to Igoumenitsa, and then I don't know, I'm standing weird on the board, and it was not enough to put the mast track all the way back and really go into planing mode. Ooh, I need to... So yeah, it didn't work holding the sail here behind the island with the shifting wind. And at the same time holding the selfie stick. So I'm going to put that away and head over to Drepano. It's 1 or 2 kilometers over there, so we pretty much made it. All right, 300 meters to go, and we're there in Drepano, Igoumenitsa. Honestly, it's quite exhausting to be sailing 1 hour or one tack. That's kind of a challenge, but it was a really cool tour. We made it in just 1 hour back here.